to the One to Another podcast. My name is Joanne, and today we're going to talk about knowing when it's time to call a timeout. Call a timeout, yelled the fans. The players looked bewildered and were recognizing the need to regroup. As one of the referees in the game, I too saw that they were stuck and needed to at least clarify the game plan. The coach kept yelling out plays and encouragement, oblivious to the observation of others. They lost the game, though it probably wasn't a coincidence of the overlooked time out. Well, you know what? Timeouts are important in life, not just in sports. Employees contract time outs generally are called personal breaks or meal breaks. Parents speak of timeouts when behavior of a child suggests a need to pull away or apart from what they're doing so they can get back on track. People take a timeout by napping, running an errand, drinking a cup of coffee, doing something fun. It's a way to keep us on a healthy journey with a balanced life and lifestyle that keeps us well, purposeful in a community and safe. Everything we said about timeouts and balanced living is extremely important for the bereaved. The importance is most keenly felt because these timeouts seem to be absent. Grief usually leaves us tired, out of sorts, bewildered, unbalanced. The agenda lifestyle seems to set the standard for all of us to push on. Close down the agenda. This should be over by now, and further isolates us when we need a sense of community. Why should we take timeouts? If we're asking the questions, that should be our biggest clue. We are getting nothing done, which may yet be another wise option. We're so overwhelmed, we don't know what to do or not do. And grieving people seem to be paralyzed in moving forward. Our health is shaky. We're not feeling right. Maybe some serious concerns have emerged during our stress of grief. I can't sleep. I can't wake up. I'm tired of being overlooked, passed by, being treated as though I'm contagious. It diminishes me and also diminishes the one I'm trying to remember. I need to express my sadness, but people back away. I need to put my sadness on hold. It's exhausting, heavy. A smile, a tune, or diversion of any sort would be a blessing. I've lost my appetite. I see my children quivering, distant, afraid to tell me things for fear of upsetting me. I want to, I need to. When others push away, when we seem to back away from our own selves, we feel disconnected. Losses seem heightened and questions mount, and the ache of despair presses us in. It may be normal for us, and it may not be the moment or the person that has erupted into the pressures. If each grief is different, then we are bound to have new thoughts, new observations, or unsettling feelings. What is it all about? What have I done? Why did my loved one die? When we're all grieving, we speak of dealing with loss. We can easily feel as troubled by being lost, though often do not suspect or recognize the dynamic and certainly don't know how to make others aware of this. Loss means off track, lacking of the familiar, absence of meaning and directions, in a daze. It isn't as comfortable a place to be, though it can come with its blessings. We wander aimlessly, going from room to room, feeling everything and feeling nothing. We feel pressed to ask questions, but generally don't know what or whom to ask. A timeout chosen well with care along the way is a pathway we all need, but which is especially important for the bereaved. It doesn't require politeness or political correctness. I want to storm out of tedious meetings and pointless groups shouting, "You just don't get it." I want to scream at the very next person who tries to dump something additional on me when I'm already stooped over by the load I'm carrying. Every ache feels overwhelming, but my physician says there's nothing wrong with me. I have no appetite, but I keep eating tasteless food. My boss says I'm unproductive, yet it takes me hours to work just to get myself motivated to go to work. Society presses us to conform, to follow with the status quo. Culture often dictates our behavior. Past experiences make strong suggestions about how I feel and how I should release these feelings. A person said, "Gentlemen, do not get angry." Not the best advice. They also think women shouldn't get angry. Not the best advice. Many of us struggle with the concept of God is and means. Many of us have had bad experiences with God, often because of the blunders of others. We expect our congregations to be like family, though often we forget there's no such thing as a perfect family. Religion can corrupt, disrupt, even abuse and destroy. Religion can be protectively disruptive of our spirituality. Spirituality is about risk, a sense of connection, a frail sense of balance in a very out of balance world. A recent sermon defined the role of the preacher as one who draws pictures around the things we cannot see and cannot understand. And so we stagger, stumble, and search, even though those doors may, in reality, be the very ones that need to open that we crave. So here's some thoughts about don't make the ground rules about spiritual hunger being lost when we're bearing the burden of loss. Spirituality is a journey. It's not a box or a script. It is never fulfilled or complete. It is new every morning, even among the lost. Spirituality, however, we define it and proclaim it, never dies. It doesn't even move away without leaving a forwarding address. It invites, feeds, and waits patiently. Healthy spirituality never abandons us, even when we are convinced that it does. When the door slams closed in our face, we try again, if we have the energy, and then we move on. God doesn't slam doors. Spirituality warms to us to wait, knock again. Maybe you're knocking on the wrong door. Seek the help of a trusted friend or someone that you trust spiritually. Remember that grief can bind us for time. Let someone else see with you and for you. I think about this whole idea of spirituality being in a place where sometimes we have to wait. We have to wait for answers. We have to wait for people to come around that want to be helpful and yet they're not there. And I was thinking about Joseph. And in the story in the Bible, when Joseph was put in prison because he didn't want to have a sexual experience with Potiphar's wife. So he was in the waiting room, and 2 years passed. 24 months of silence, 140 weeks of waiting, 730 days of wondering, 2,190 meals alone, 17,520 of listening for God, yet hearing nothing but God's silence. Well, it's plenty of time to grow bitter, cynical, angry. Folks have given up on God for lesser reason and in a shorter time. And so while we wait, God works. It says in John 5:17, "My Father is always at his work." Waiting is a sustained effort to stay focused on God through prayer and belief. To wait is to rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him, not fret. That's Psalms 37:7. Psalms 4:5 says, "Do what is right as a sacrifice to the Lord and trust the Lord." So as we are learning some thoughts and some ways to walk through timeouts, I suggest that you do some kind of a ritual before you go to bed. Maybe you read a passage of scripture that's really helped you. Or maybe you know a scripture that has helped you and you just repeat it, or you count your blessings. One of the things that I've learned about counting my blessings is that people who count their blessings and write them down, do you know what? They live longer than the person that never does it. And so there's ways that we can have timeouts. And, I just shared with you a couple of scriptures, and maybe you'd think about this scripture. Lord, let your constant love surround me, for our hopes are in you. Psalm 33:22. Day by day the Lord pours out his steadfast love upon me. Psalms 42:8. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him. So maybe there's times that life feels rote, it feels boring, it's repetitious, but there's one thread that comes through our life, and it's called hope. So in the days that I have been working on letting go of pieces of furniture, of different love gifts, doing all this letting go and sizing down, there has been a time come when I know and I knew that it was time for me to sell Ron's car. Because the house that I'm going into, the duplex, whatever, has a one-car garage. And we've had a 3-car garage for all these years, and now I'm sizing down to a 1-car. So on last Sunday, I decided after I went to church that I needed to take a time out. And I had driven Ron's car to church and felt like I needed to just spend some time driving his car around and thinking about all the wonderful times that we had been in that car together. Vacations that we took to Canada, just times where we had gone shopping together, times we met and I would park my car and drive with him, and maybe we'd just go to the beach. I mean, all the times that the wheels had been rolling and we had been moving into our life and doing just what is life. So I turned off my phone. I didn't come home for a long time. I just drove around. And in driving around, I realized how important it was for me to say goodbye, take a time out, do the work I needed to do in letting go, so that when the car left the garage, I could say goodbye, bless the new people who was going to have the car, and feel the pain of letting go move to peace. So it may be time for you to take a time out to work on your grief in a way where there's something you need to let go of. I know that there's times when we need timeouts, whether it's for a nap, for ritual doing, or for just enjoying the day. I do believe that we all have times when we want to give up on God. Some people feel like it's their nature. But you know what? We need to give the spirituality that's in us an opportunity to grow. The one thing I know is that I trust God. He never abandons me. It's the one thread that pulls it together and keeps life from becoming shambles. It all boils down to this. When in doubt, call a timeout. Well, I hope that this helped you somehow, someday, to take another step in your grief and find that hope and letting go are answers to slowly moving to new normal.